Hello everyone. Today we will be continuing this chapter, that structure of atom chapter. There we have already shown you that covalent bonding and bonding of nitrogen, oxygen, double bond, triple bond, two single bonds, three single covalent bond and so on. And next week we will be discussing the question answers also. Now I have received a mail where it is said that to discuss polar non-polar part once again. Now we had discussion on polar and non-polar part during the discussion of water chapter when we were discussing about the universal solvent property of the water, that water is universal solvent. There we had a discussion on polar and non-polar. So let's once again let us discuss. Now one question that you all were saying that ionic compounds are polar or not. See, the term polar that has come from the word poles. This term we apply for covalent compounds because in covalent compounds there are sharing of electron. Now once again to tell that electrons we cannot count as 1, 2, 3, 4. In reality, generally we count that we know there are 10 electron, 12 electron, 15 electron. But when you see the picture, I think I said you all check the picture that is taken now, picture of an atom. There electrons exist inside an atom in form of a cloud. We call it electron cloud. So there, when there is a complete transfer of the electrons, then ions are already formed. In case of ionic compounds, there is a complete transfer of electron. That means one atom is completely given out the electrons to other, and then the one which is giving all the giving the electrons, 1 or 2 electrons, that is acquiring a positive charge, and the one which is accepting the electron, that acquiring a negative charge. So already they are having positive charge and negative charge among them, and positive charge, negative charge means there will be attraction. There is already a positive pole and negative pole which is existing before the bond formation comes into the place. That means first the transfer of electron takes place, and then as the oppositely charged ions are present there is a very strong electrostatic force of attraction. You have read about different types of attractions in physics. There is one electrostatic force of attraction, and I guess you all have read it in physics as well. So as there is oppositely charged ion and there is electrostatic force of attraction, so force among them is very strong. All of them are solid and all of them are having the poles, positive poles, negative poles among them. There is no classification. But in case of covalent compound, there may or may not have the presence of the opposite poles. Covalent compounds have polar, some of the covalent compounds are polar in nature, but it does not mean that they have positive ions and negative ions in them. If they are having ions, the first and foremost work that they can do, that they can conduct electricity in the molten stage or in the liquid stage. See, for conduction of the current you need free ions, right? In case of ionic compounds, they are solid at the room temperature. They are having ions, but they are not free. Free means they are easy to move. They are not easy to move. But if you bring them in the liquid state, like sodium chloride, if you heat at 1440 degrees centigrade temperature, then there will be free Na plus and Cl minus ion. They can conduct electricity very well. But water itself, a liquid, and pure water cannot conduct electricity. That's very surprising, right? But we are telling water is polar. That means it has a positive pole and negative pole. Then why they cannot conduct electricity? That means there is a difference between polar and ionic. Ionic means there is a free ions. Polar means there are molecule which is having a partial positive and partial negative charge in them. If I want to go in bit detail, every molecule means every covalent molecule has certain extent of ionic character in them, but that is not 100%. And every ionic compound has certain covalent character in them. This is another very interesting thing. Like ionic compounds are not 100% ionic always, and covalent compounds are not 100% covalent always. But in ionic compound, as we can see free ions present there, so they can conduct electricity. But in polar covalent compounds, we cannot see the free ions are generating. So that means what? We cannot create the free ions. Can't we make the water conducting, we can do that. If we add something from outside which is ionic, like if you add some salt, some acid, in fact the water that we are using in our home, the water which contains certain impurities, some salts are there, that sample of water is very well conducting. We always say that if your hand is wet, do not touch the switch. Why? Because water is conducting, that water is conducting because we are not washing our hand with distilled water every time. In fact, mineral water is also a conducting solution because it has minerals in there. So I think the overall general idea of polar and ionic, this part is clear to you all now. Now if I want to distinguish between a polar and non-polar compound, simple definition is, in a covalent compounds are formed by sharing of electron. So if there is a sharing of electron and if the sharing is equal, if a tug of war is going on and I am doing the match with myself, so me and my power will be the same because I am competing with myself. So in that case our force will be same. If I and my clone, both of are playing and trying to win, both of are applying the same force, then actually there will be no result. Both of us will be not moving. We are on still. We will stand still. So similar, like if the distribution of the electron cloud among the same atom is observed, there is equal distribution, and that's a non-polar. That means partial charge separation has not happened. But in case of polar covalent compounds, that means if there is a difference in the atoms, we use a term here, electronegativity. Electronegativity is a property of an element to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself in a combined state. Remember, in a combined state. In a free state, we are not deciding electronegativity. We use the term electronegativity when it's the combined state. That means if the atom is oxygen and another atom is suppose hydrogen, they are playing the tug of war game. Oxygen has a more tendency to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself than hydrogen. So obviously the shared pair electrons or the cloud will be bit shifted towards oxygen. I hope I'm clear. Similarly, if the tug of war is played with oxygen and fluorine, fluorine being more electronegative than oxygen, that case the pair of electron, a shared pair of electron, will be tilted towards the fluorine. That means the density of the electron cloud will be more towards fluorine. Fine. So here the term polar comes. That means when we are judging any molecule where there is a difference in the electronegativity between the atoms, the one atom which has more tendency to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself, there will be a partial distribution or unequal distribution of the electron cloud, and that element which has more electronegativity will attract the electron cloud little more toward itself. We will call it is acquiring a partial negative charge which is actually presented with delta negative, and the one from which the cloud is being shifted, that will be presented as delta positive. So in that case, as the electron cloud distribution is not uniform, is unequal, so the molecule or the bond is polar. Again, one more thing is coming here. The bond is polar. The molecule may or may not be polar. Now see the fun. The bond, if it is polar, it's not always that the molecule will be polar, or vice versa. That means individual bonds polarity, if getting cancelled by another bond inside a molecule, then we can say the molecule as a whole non-polar, like it happens in case of carbon tetrachloride. The distribution of carbon tetrachloride is tetrahedral. The bonds are surrounded in such a way that every bond's polarity is cancelled by the other bond's polarity. Actually, we use a term here, resultant. CCl bond, two CCl bonds are oriented in such a way the resultant of the bond polarity of two bonds is cancelled by the resultant of another two bond polarity. And in that way the molecule as a whole is non-polar. But CCl4, CCl, this carbon chlorine bond individually is polar. And in case of water molecule, the bonds are polar and the molecule is also polar, but here cancellation is not like CCl4. That means here bond and molecule both are polar. But if you do not have any polar bond, in that case no option comes, like N2O2, Cl2, these kinds of molecules, they are having only one kind of bonds which are not polar. They are having triple bond, double bond, whatever it is, but the bond is actually between the two same atom. So they are basically non-polar. So that means molecule also non-polar and the bond is also non-polar. So that's about the discussion of polars and non-polars. I hope it's clear now. And regarding this chapter, some of you are talking about this Bohr's theory, Rutherford's theory. Those theories are not there in the council syllabus. Council, whatever has mentioned in their syllabus, our discussions will be restricted on that only. We cannot go beyond. If it is there in your book, the book you all are following, you can read for your own knowledge, but I cannot explain as it is not given in the council's portion. So these are the topic on which we have done the discussion regarding distribution of electrons, distribution of octet and duplet, and why an atom forms a compound, then covalent bond, ionic bond. You have seen the structures of ammonia. We have orbital picture diagram. We do not have Lewis dot structure as well. So these all were the discussion. So today we have discussed this part. Next day we will be discussing question answers, and also we will start the periodic table. In periodic table also I am telling whatever they are in the portion, it's mentioned, like history of periodic table. We have Duvenina law of triad, Newland's law of octave, Mendeleev, Moseley, these four we have, and then we have bit idea on periods and groups, and then numbering, and why an atom is placed in group 2, group 5, group 15, group 16. We do not have 3 to 12, we have only 1, 2, and then we have 13 to 18, that means 1A to 7A, and group 0. We have in our syllabus first 20 elements only. So live classes, you can tell me if you have any other doubts. Till then, take care and bye. See you in the next class.